Okay, let's see how well my rigged up phone holder is going to hold out on my little recording here. But anyway, what I am teaching is, I know I've done tutorials already on adding a zipper to a jingle dress or any kind of dress that you're doing. The zipper that I'm using is a 22-inch zipper. I just buy them all the same size just because if I need it shorter, then I can, or these are the only ones that I really buy. I use this, and I use my double fold extra wide bias tape. That's gonna go around the zipper opening to bind it. Yeah, so again, I really hope that my stand that I kind of rigged up here is gonna hold well enough. So I am going to add in, this is just the opening of the dress. That's the bottom half of the dress, like where the jingles go. And then this part here is my opening. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from the bottom of the zipper portion, grab my bias tape. Usually on the bias tape, this side is a little bit shorter, and then the back side is a little bit longer. The only reason for that being is if you do a straight stitch over top of this part right here, it won't skip the back. But if you turn it around, you sew it from the longer end right here with the short end to the back, and then when you go to sew this down, you're skipping, you'll miss the whole back of the bias tape. So just make sure the short end is facing towards you and the long end is in the back. And then, okay, I use like a wide kind of zigzag stitch to it. You can use designs or whatever, but anyway, I'm gonna do my best here. Because I don't know how well my thing is gonna hold still here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this end of the bias tape as close as I can to the opening, like the bottom part here. Usually I just whip right through this, but I wanted to give a little tutorial. One of my adopted sisters was asking me to do a recording of putting a zipper on, like attaching the zipper. And after I start this part, I'm just gonna grab this other side and I'm gonna push that to the back. So then that way that part doesn't get caught underneath what I'm sewing here. And then just keep opening this up. And then one thing to keep in mind is the edge of your sewing right here, like I searched this, so keep that in the fold as much as you can, like right in there. Close that up, and then just make sure that you feel the serge part of the inside of the dress here. Just make sure that that doesn't kind of slide out this way when you're starting to sew it. So just make sure to really hold that in place. Press that down, make sure you feel that. Make sure you really kind of hold that in place while you're sewing. And I kind of sew like on the edge over here a little bit, so then that way it catches, like it holds down the edges of the bias tape. And then make sure when you're going to move this portion here to make sure to add more pieces, make sure your needle is down in the material before you kind of pull on this a little bit, because you will pull it too hard to where it'll shift your project a little bit. So just make sure your needle is down in your sewing before you try to tug on this part right here. And just make sure this edge right here is pressed in here. And then make sure you feel that in there. And then I'm just gonna keep sewing this here. So then that way, kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing and then just clipping these threads off the bottom. And then, so the other part of the bias tape, like what I was talking about, keeping, like I'm gonna do this other side right here. So then keep in mind that you're gonna move the bias tape to the other side to where the shortest side right here is gonna be facing you, and then the longer piece is gonna be in the back. So you're just turning it around. And then, so you're just gonna do the same thing all over again. Hopefully I don't run out of thread underneath the bobbin. Hold that still. Yeah, these little things that I'm doing right now, it's just just turned into a force of habit to, especially on the zippers, to make sure that this edge of this, the dress of the zipper opening is like right in there, like right against that. And then just using, like when you're putting this there, when you're closing it, and then just make sure the feel on the edge of that dress is touching the edge of that. So then that way, you know that the bias tape has caught that. Oh, yay, look at that. My bias tape, my bobbin did run out on me. Guess I should have filled that, changed that before I even started. It's okay because I already have bobbin already pre-filled already. Go. New bobbin is in, and then just start back off. Where I left off here. That's in there. Yeah, a lot of people do their zippers differently. I just find this so much easier than some people may like hem this, like fold this back and then add their zippers in here on its own. But I don't know. I've just always done it this way to where I add the bias tape in there. I don't know. I've just always done it this way. I find it easier. Yeah, this only takes like a couple minutes, but it's a little bit tricky to sew with this camera on my face. And literally, it's like right in front of me. Okay. So after I do that, I'm going to clip off the thread again. And then, so this part, so the zigzag that I did have it on, so right now I'm going to change it back to a straight stitch. Straight stitch, and the length is going to be on 2, and I'm going to put the width back on 0. And then, so from here, I am going to add the zipper portion. And then I'll show you also a little trick that I have always done along my way. Okay, when you're sewing the zipper, just always make sure that you have the zipper facing you. Because hold it like this and then open that a bit, and just make sure that the zipper is always facing you. A lot of the time when I say make sure to, and then I say whatever I say, like make sure the zipper's towards you, is because I didn't do that one time. That's how I learned how to make sure to check next time, is because I didn't check with the zipper facing me. One time I added the zipper, this side was here, and then the other side was flipped around. So there's so many little things when I say, oh, make sure, and then it's because those things are things that I've done. So I've learned so many things along my way of being a dressmaker. A lot of things that I do now is just a force of habit like this. Make sure that the zipper is facing me, and then hold that still, and then open that zipper up. Hold that still, and then now I have it on a straight stitch. I'm going to do my best here because I don't really do this with my phone in my face. And then just keep making sure that that zipper is right next. I never change the foot. I never change the sewing foot. You know how they say zipper foot and all this and that? I've never changed the foot on my machine. It's a clear foot right here. Like I can see through this. And then my needle, I never change it. Well, I do change it, but I use a leather needle, a leather sewing needle in here. And I use that for everything. Like I never change my needle unless if maybe I break one or whatever. But I always use leather needles. Yeah, it just helps go through like the applique or like a thicker bias tape or anything like that. Then this part right here, I just go to the end of my bias tape. Don't go down any more than the bias tape because that's the part that bends for the bottom of the zipper. So yeah, just make sure not to sew past the bias tape that you already have on there. Okay, stop right there. Take this out of there. And then go back up to the top. And then make sure to zipper this up just a little bit, because what you don't want to do is leave this all the way at the bottom and then here you're sewing together your zipper and then find that you've sewn the zipper down here. Reason for that is because I've done that too. So I've been doing this for about 35 years. So I've learned so many things not to do. So this part right here, so just follow this all the way up, hang on to this flat part here of the zipper, so you know this is the right end that you have in your hand, and then grab the top of the other side of the zipper, the other side of the dress. Hold that still. I never pin anything, and only part of any of my sewing that I do pin is the sleeves when I'm adding the sleeves to the dress or the cuff. But I don't know, I've done this for so long, I never pin anything. And just hold that in place. Okay, this is a little bit tricky having this phone in my face here. And then usually what I do is when I put that foot down, when I'm starting to sew something, I'll actually grab the thread from this part right here. And so when I'm starting to sew, I'll grab this and I'll pull it just a little bit. Because if you ever notice when you start to sew something and the needle will get, like, it'll stay stuck in one spot because it's caught on something. So what I usually do is I grab this and I'll pull on that, so then that way it will move. What is this doing? Yeah, because if you're not careful, it will get stuck. So I usually just grab the end of this to help it along so it won't get stuck in one spot. I try to sew as close as I can to the edge, like where the zipper is, like the edge of the bias tape, but not too close because you don't want to cover the zipper, because when you go to zipper the zipper up, it will get caught on the thread. So just make sure just not too close to the edge of the bias tape. Might seem a little bit tricky, but once you just get used to doing this, it's so repetitive. Like, you'll get so used to it in no time with zippers. And then my biggest fear was adding a zipper to, yeah, a zipper to like anything else. Like, I used to be scared to do that, but now it's not a problem at all. Okay, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this part right here. So, okay, I left this part right here open for a reason. See, it's not covered, the bottom of that, because in some cases when I do sew the zipper together, right here you'll see this part's up, like it'll shift a little bit, and it never fails. A lot of my dresses, they will shift. So I just learned along the way just not to cover this part up, because yes, they do shift, and do not worry about that. So what I actually do is I have my tacky glue that I use. Okay, I'll put this down a little bit. Sew down a little bit, and then I'm gonna lift my needle up, lift the foot up, move this over a bit, move the zipper out of the way, like zipper that up, move that back over, put the foot back down. That's this thing, the foot. And then with your hand on the side of the needle, put the needle back through there, like in the material. And then so what I'm gonna do, how I like to finish the bottom of my dresses is I will grab my bias tape that I used for this part here to edge that. So I'll grab my bias tape. I will measure that point from the edge of this. Hold on a second, let me see if I can. Anyway, I'll measure from the edge of this bias tape to the edge of this bias tape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put that down there, hold it still, kind of guess where I'm gonna put that, and I'm gonna cut this portion off, like cut that. And so this is the piece that I'm gonna be using over top to cover up that, you know, that shift or whatever that might happen right there. Sometimes it may not, and sometimes it does. So what I'm gonna use is so this part here, I'm going to use the longer part facing me and the shorter part in the back of this bias tape facing the dress. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift that over, and this is my own thing. I've been doing this to hold this in place instead of pinning it. I use a tad bit of tacky glue. You can pin it if you like, but I don't like pinning. So I'm gonna grab this, and I'm going to add it over half and half of the bottom of the zipper right here. So just make sure you don't drop this on your dress. So the center of your bias tape right here will go in the center of the end of the bottom of the bias tape for the zipper opening. Just enough to where it's gonna cover down here and up here a little bit. If it's terrible, I use red on red. Sorry about that. And then I'm gonna hold that down a little bit. And usually I like to just hold it for a couple seconds. And while I'm doing that, see this part that I'm still sewing down? I can, okay, just hold that down. And just sew straight all the way down to the end of that there. And you can wait a couple seconds, like let it set for a couple. I just do this to where it's gonna hold it still while I sew it, or like after I get to the bottom part of the bias tape, lift that up. Make sure to hold your dress, hold this sideways. Okay, this part is gonna be a lot of twirling. So I'm just gonna continue and you'll get the idea of what I'm doing here. Let's go to the bottom. It's just like sewing down a big rectangle. So I'm gonna keep the needle inside on the corner of that. Once again, I should have used, like this red on red is a little bit terrible. I really hope you can see what I'm doing here. And then stop again on that corner. It's just like going in big circles here. Put that down. And it's like you're sewing around on like a big rectangle on the outside first. Lift that foot up, but leave the needle in the dress. Turn that around again. And while you're doing this, please, please, please just keep in mind to keep feeling the dress to make sure that you are not sewing a part of this dress underneath the zipper, like underneath the dress. So just keep in mind to keep kind of pressing out flat, just to make sure that there's nothing that's being like fold underneath that you're sewing. So again, I've done that. That's why I keep saying make sure you don't do something like that. Okay, and then straight back down. And then I'm on the corner, on the bottom corner. Lift my needle up, or my foot, and then make sure the needle is pressed down in the material, so then that way when you do turn the dress, that it will stay in place. So right now I'm gonna go back over it, and I'm gonna stop. It's just like, it's like sew down the outside, going back over, and then, okay, I'll show you in a second because it's a little bit hard to explain what I'm doing here. I'll show a close-up here in a second. And then right when I get to the bottom of the zipper part, I am going to I'm going to use my back stitch to be able to go over where, you know, when you open your zipper and it hits the bottom of the dress. So that's the part that I'm going to go back and forth on this with my back stitch a couple times to be able to, so when you go to get out of this dress, that you open the dress and then that you're pulling the dress apart to be able to change or to get in and out of your dress. So this part takes a lot of beating, is that part right there when you're in a hurry, you're trying to change, any of that. So the reason I go over this so many times is because I do not want this zipper being worn out so quickly or rip into the dress itself. So that's why I go over it a few times. And then that's where I'm going to stop. Make sure the needle is up. Lift up the foot. And then clip your threads. Take the dress out very carefully and then clip the threads out of the back. And then I'll show you the back of this, so then that way it gives you an idea of what I was doing with the going around in like a triangle around the bottom of the zipper, because it's kind of a little bit tricky to show you like with the red on red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zipper this up, and then yeah, my lighting is not the best either. Okay, to give you an idea, see, this is the part that I glued on. I held it still. And then so when I was sewing down this part right here, and then I glued this down. So when I started sewing, I'd sew this down. This is the pattern that I do with all of my stuff. Sew it down all the way to the bottom. Go this way, twirl it, go this way, twirl it, straight across, twirl it, go down, and then I go over this, I stop right here, and then there's two, you can barely see it, there's two lines right here from going straight down, around, and then you're going over it, stop right here, and then you're going up. And then this is the part where I twirl it again, and then I zigzag over this so many times right here. And then to kind of give you an idea, more of an idea, and then this is the back. And then so that just enforces to where the zipper is not going to come off. And then what I like to do after the zipper is on, it's done, is I will go back up to the top of the dress and I will go back over it, like I'll go around, like loop all the way around the zipper to just give it an extra layer of sewing right around the zipper. I'll just keep this, the lineup of the zipper right here, this the foot to the zipper, and then I just keep on going. And anything you sew, just make sure that there is nothing, like nothing fold underneath your dress that you're gonna sew behind the dress that shouldn't be there. And there she be. There is the zipper for this dress. And if you find yourself, don't forget, if you find yourself getting frustrated at all, step away from your project, go have some tea, take a walk, whatever it be. You know, go relax or whatever. And then maybe after a while, and then come back and then maybe rewatch some portions of this video back and then give it a try. I believe you got this. You can do it. Don't give up. Do not give up. Don't get frustrated. You know, if you do, take a break. It does take time. I've been doing this for so long, is why I can easily do this, but it does get easier, it does get quicker, and it'll be like nothing in no time. So the more projects you do, so you got this, and I hope that you've liked this video. And a lot of people that say like, follow, share, you know, if you like this video and if you found it helpful, I'm really proud of you if you're able to, like, when you complete something, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you that you were able to complete putting a zipper on your project. I know you can do it. I believe in you. So yeah, just keep on practicing. If you're not too sure, just practice on maybe like a scrap piece of material or anything, scrap dress or anything, just to kind of get a hang of it, and then try it on the project that you need a zipper on. But yeah, I really hope that I was able to help. And yeah, well, this recording was like nearly 40 minutes. But in actuality, it takes maybe like 5, maybe 10 minutes to do. So, yeah, you got this, I believe. Love you all. Like, follow, share. Like, follow, share. Subscribe. Love you all. Keep safe, keep healthy, keep strong. And be kind. Love you all.